Bendigo Crescent in Thomastown. My name is Robert Ozzimo. I proudly represent the company of Harcourts, Rata and Co. And I'm joined here today by some of my award-winning team in blue, the best team in the north. Should you require their advice, please feel free to approach either Giordano, Valley. Inside we've got Ilia and Lou Menkonoski walking out right on cue, and of course Daniel Taylor also here assisting with your bidding here today. Buyers, before we proceed, I'd like to share with you the following announcements which in place to help you bid and buy with absolute confidence here today. The auction will be conducted in accordance with the rules and any additional conditions that were made available for inspection before the start of the auction. The auction rules prohibit an auctioneer from accepting bids or offers for a property after the property has been knocked down to the successful bidder. The vendors have a reserve price as the auctioneer. I'll indicate bidders on request. The law prohibits false bids, prohibits major disruptions by bidders, and prohibits bidders attempting to prevent others from bidding, and provides for fines for such conduct. The rules permit for vendor bids. The words I'll use during the auction to indicate that I'm making a bid on behalf of the vendor are vendor bid, and by law only I, as the auctioneer, can make a vendor bid. The contract of sale has been on display prior to today's auction. We call for 10% deposit upon the fall of the hammer and the signing of the contract to take place here today, with the balance to be paid at settlement in a flexible 60 to 90 days time, at which time the vendor will provide the lucky buyer with vacant possession of the property. All in all, quite a straightforward contract. Everything's in there. Everything is quite clear. Buyers, is with my highest recommendation what we offer for your consideration and competition here today. A great example of elevated double-fronted brick home here in the very heart of Thomastown. What's evident about this home is how much it has been loved over the years. First time offered for sale and rare opportunity for you and your family today. A great floor plan, a free-flowing floor plan, massive living spaces, very comfortable, very well looked after, and as I said, comfortable as it is, but also providing plenty of scope for you to add your own touches to and make it your very own over the years. One thing that you cannot replace is the location we find ourselves here today. A great access to absolutely all the infrastructure that you need for a great lifestyle and great capital growth at our fingertips here in the very heart of Thomastown. So whether you're a first home buyer, whether you're an investor, or whether you're looking for the next move for you and your family, today presents an opportunity to get the job done, to get out of the market and into number 25 Bendigo. If you'd like to get the sold sticker up on the board, right now is the opportunity to do that, buyers. Where can I see a fair and reasonable starting bid? Who'd like to start us off, buyers? I don't mind the call, I'm in your hands. Where can I see a start? 650. At 650,000, a bit light on, sir, but I'll go with 650, and why not? At 650,000, the last participation rises of 25, and I wish you the best of luck here today. At 650,000, the bid's here, looking for 75 now. At $650,000 the bid. At 650 now. At 650,000, fairly bidding off now. 650 the bid. At 650, any better bid, any better offer than 650. At 650,000, at 75 now. Welcome, best of luck. 75, round me off to 7, sir. At 675,000, the bid's there. At 675 the bid. First call at 675. I'm at 675, so we're going the wrong way. At 675 I already have. At 675, you can't live together, sir. 675's over here. At 675,000, looking for 700 in the rise, sir. At 675,000, got to be 700. At 670, can I say 700 now? At 700, got, thank you, sir. At 700,000, even money. At 700 and the bid's here at 7. At 700,000, make it 25 from top. At 700,000, fairly been offered. At 700 the bid. At 700,000, got to be 7.25 now. At 700,000 once. At 7 are we done? At 700,000 for the second call. At $700,000. I'm taking 25, Valley, got to be 25. So bid with strength if you want to buy. Show the competition you're here to buy. At 700,000, can I say 725? At 700,000 now. Was that a bid, Matt? Does she want to buy it? She's sure? Maybe in a few years. At 700,000. At 700,000, the bid's there. At 7 now. First call at 700,000. Are we done? Second call at 720. I'll shorten my stride and get you back involved at 20 now. 720,000. Same courtesy at 20 if you like, sir. 720 I have, and the bid's against yours. At 720,000, the bid's here. At 720, the bid. At 720, the bid. Fairly been offered now. At 720,000, make it 40 in the rise. 730. At 30, I'll shorten my stride for you at 730. At 730,000, I'll take your 10 now. At 730, the bid's there. Got to be 40 now. At 730, the bid. At 730,000, bid here. Opportunity with you all. At 730,000 once. At 730, we done. at $730,000 a bid. For the second call at 730, we done. At 40 now, and welcome back at 40.50 if you like. At 740, the bid's here. At 740,000 now. At 740, make it 50, sir. Don't give me the 5. I know you've got instructions there for 5. I saw you do that. At 740,000. At 740, keep strengthening the bidding if you want to buy. Show the competition you're here to buy. Make it 50 in the rise. At 740,000. Once at 740,000, are we done? 50. At 50 now, and good strong bidding. That's how you buy at 750. At 750. The bid at 750,000 now, and 60 the call at 750. I've got here on my left in front for you at 750. At 750,000. At 750,000 for the first call at 750. Are we done? Second call at 750,000. Are we done? Finished at 760 now. At 760 the bid. At 760,000, and we're back here now at 60. Oh, we'll take the 5 at 765. At 765, and the same courtesy at only 5 if you like. At 765, easy bid to match at 5. At $765,000 a bid. At 700, careful sir, almost took your money there. At 765. At 765,000, you would have said. You would have gone home and said, I went for a walk and bought a house at 70 now. At 770 the bid. At 770,000. At 770,000, we're back here. Your 5 still good with me if you've got it. At 70 got now. At 770,000. At 770,000, fairly been offered bid here. At 775. At 7 3/4 now, and 80 it's got to be. At 775,000, fairly been offered. At 775 now, once. At 780 now. At $780,000 a bid. At 780 I have in the bids there. 780. 85 good with me if you've got it at 785. At 780. At 780,000, fairly been offered at 80 here. Against your bid at 80 now. Once at 780,000, are we done? 5. At 5 at 85 now. 785. At 785,000, how about we be bold, dig deep, take me to 8. At 785,000, and the bid's there. 785. At 785,000, fairly been offered now. At 785 the bid. First call at 785,000. At 90 now. At $790,000 the bid. At 90 now, and the bid's there. Back against you. No, sir, but we're getting some instructions now. 790,000. If Ilia and Daniel walk out and they say that we're on the market, you want it to be on your bid because that means you'll have the keys. But if they do that and it's over there, the keys will be there. At 90 the bid. Bid's there. Opportunity with you to get ahead. At 790,000. First call at 790. Are we done? Second call at 790,000. Done. Finished, definitely done. Third, final call at $790,000 a bid bids here. At 790, we have one over there. Welcome, sir, 791. At 791,000. We are on the market and selling at 791,000 bids there. Might buy with a $1,000 bid, so it rarely happens. Might be your lucky day at 791. At 93 now, was that 93? At 792. At 792,000 wasn't to be. 3 at 793, at 793,000, at 793,000, about 95, ma'am, at 795, at 795,000, I'll still come back to you. You want to get back involved yet? At 795, think about it for a moment. At 6, at 796 the bid, at 796, at 796 bid there. How about 800, ma'am? At 796,000, we're only 4,000 away. At 796,000. At 800,000, even money at 8. At 800 the bid, and 801. At 801,000. At 801,000, the quick retort back against you at 801. The bid's there, the keys are there, across the road. We're on the market, we sell at 801,000. Make absolutely no mistake about it. At 803 and 5 now. At 805, sir. At 805,000. 804. I apologise, 804. Lou, I've got mixed instructions there. Tommy 804 at 804,000. I might have 805 here at 804,000. 810,000, and a great bid at that at 810,000. Big bids, buy property. 810,000 bids there. 11 now at 811, at 811,000, at 811,000, bid back there across the road, keys back there across the road, opportunity still with you, at 815 now, at 815,000, at 815 the bid, and 16 or 20? 16 at 816,000, at 816 the bid now, at 816,000 bid there, keys are there, have they done enough? At 816,000 once, at 816 all done. Second call and a half at 816 and a half. and one at 817.5. I had the one next to you, sir, at 817.5. At 817.5 now, make it 820. At 817,500, we're definitely done over here. Thank you very much for bidding here today. 817,500 bids there, keys are there. Are we done over here, Valley? 817.5, can I say 820, ma'am? 817.5, need to know on the market and selling. 820 now, where was that at 820,000? At 820 the bid, at 821, at 821 now, at 821,000, fairly been offered now at 821 and 22, at 822 now 23, at 823,000 back against you, sir, 23 at 823, at 823, can I say 25 now? At 823 in the bids there, at 25 got, at 825,000, at 825 fairly been offered, bid there, at 26 now at 826, at 826,000, take me to 30, sir. You've got to give it at least one big bid. At 826,000, bids there, 827 if you like. 27. At 27 now at 827. 8 at 828. He didn't even let me get 3 steps towards him. At 828,000. At 828,000, you've got to be decisive. At 30 now, got at 830. At 31. At 831. At 831, the bid's there. Keys are there. Opportunity's still with you, but I'm about to sell at 831 the bid. At 831,000, are we done? At 831, bids there. Keys are there. Once at 831, all done. Twice at 831, done and finished. Third and final call, 831, all done, all finished. Silent out at 831. Need some instructions there, Valley. We're out here. Ma'am, are we definitely done? 800, we're definitely, I have your best here today. Thank you very much for being here today. 831,000, bids there, keys are there. We're on the market. We sell at 831 the bid. Once at 831, are we done? At 32 now at 832 and 3, at 833 and 4, at 5, at 835 now, at 835,000, at 806 now, 836 rather, almost gave you a discount there, mates rates, 836, at 7, at 837, at 8, at 838 and 9, and 40 if you like, at 40 got, at 41, at 842, at 843, and 44, and 45, and 46, and 47, and 48, and 49 if you like, and 49 and 50 now, and 50 got at 850,000. At 850 the bid at 8.5, and we're here at 850,000. At 850,000, fairly been offered bids here. Keys are here. You've been so strong. You've got to finish strong if you want to buy. You're definitely done. It's a round number, sir. Don't finish on a round number. It might be the mental barrier there. At 850,000, bids there. Keys are there. At 850,000. Once at 850, all done. Twice at 850, done and finished. Third, final call, $850,000 the bid. All done, all finished, all silent out, and 52 at 852 now. Are we done over here? I need to know, Valley, at 852. At 852,000, sir, you had him on the ropes. At 500, 852 and a half. At 852 and a half now. 53 at 853. Small bids help the competition come along. Big bids show the competition you're here to buy. Big bids do buy property. 853 in the bids there. Opportunity with you at 853,000. At 853,000. Bids here. Keys are here. There's no further bidding. We'll sell at that. We are on the market. At 500, 853 and a half, and 54. At 854 now. At 854, the quick retort. $500 bids, easy to combat. At 854, the bid. At 854,000. 855, man. No? You sure it's a good buy? Yeah, absolutely. No worries. Well, you're going to wave to your new neighbours shortly. We've just got to work out who it's going to be. At 854,000, the bid's there. Against you, sir, 854. At 854 and a half. At 854 and a half, and 55 at 855. At 855,000. At 855,000, bid there. Keys are there. Back against you at 855. Are you definitely done now? You've told me that a couple of times here today, sir. 855. Well, have you got any more for him, sir? At 855, the bid's there. Once at 855, all done. Twice at 855,000, done and finished. Third, final call, 855, done, finished. Silent out, 855. Ma'am, so I need to know, 855, are we definitely done? Yeah. We're at 855,000. The bid's over there, the keys are there, we're on the market, we're selling. Yeah, we know. You're out? Yeah, we do. Definitely, thank you very much for your bidding here today. 855,000, bid here, keys are here. Everyone on this side's out at 855. So if you tell me I've got your best, I'll sell over there. I'll have your absolute best.
to them.
You haven't got any more for him?
I have.
Oh, mate. He's taking it all. 855,000, we're definitely done. Thank you very much for your bidding here today. At 855, beats here, Keezy here. We're selling once at 855, done. Second call at 855, done and finished. Third, final call, $855,000 a bid, all done, finished, sold and out at 855. We are selling, 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 sold. Congratulations and well bid. Please join me congratulating our purchasers and our vendors here today. You've just witnessed another successful Harcourts Rata & Co auction. Have a great weekend. See you again soon. Thank you. Well done, mate. Congratulations. Well done. That's my job.
I nearly gave you $500, mate.
Well, you can still,